So I know that I said that I was going to be making my next video on Goku Zeno, and I did make the video. I made it. But after I finished making it, I decided that since everybody else is talking about him right now, that's boring. So instead I'm going to go on ahead and talk about a character that I was saving for later, a guy that I've never seen anybody else really even mention. This guy is the coolest, the most powerful, the most important Dragon Ball character that you've probably never even heard of. A guy known only as the Evil Saiyan or the Mysterious Saiyan. I don't know who he is actually. At this point, nobody does. I have my suspicions though, but honestly, I don't know that much about him. But I know enough to at least explain how much of a badass this guy is. So, first off, though, as always, if you're not familiar with Dragon Ball Heroes, I am. Go me. So go ahead though and click on the subscribe button. Click the bell for notifications as well. And stick with me for the next few weeks. And by the time the series comes out, you will know all you need to know about the series. Now, I'm not sure if you realize this, but the Prison Planet saga is the third saga in the storyline. A lot happened before that, so I'm going to be covering a lot of that over the next few weeks. So I made a pretty bold claim a minute ago. I told you guys that I was going to be talking about the coolest, the most powerful, and the most important character that you've never heard of, and I stand behind my claim. However, I also said that I don't know much about the guy, and unfortunately that is true as well, but that's really the beauty of this character. He's called the Mysterious Saiyan for a reason. We don't know much about the guy, but we do know enough to know that this guy is going to be a problem. So we get our first look at him in the first intro from the Prison Planet saga of the game. We have Fu. Now, if you don't know who Fu is, I made a video about him. I'll link that down in the description. But we have Fu. He's standing over the Dragon Balls making a wish, and afterwards it cuts to this guy in a dark room. His eyes are closed. He's got a mask over his face. And he's wearing a straitjacket, when suddenly, without moving a muscle, this crazy purple aura just erupts from him, and then it cuts away and goes back to the whatever. Now, that was Fu's wish to wake him up. Now, to put that into perspective, though, Fu was created from the cells of Myra and Toa. He is Dabura's nephew and the heir to the throne of the Demon Realm. He is a genius like Toa, with the power of Myra. He can open time rifts and summon people from other time zones. He can even revive the dead, but even with his vast power, he had to resort to the Dragon Balls to wake this guy up. Now, do you know what Prison Planet is yet? If not, basically it's a bunch of planets that are chained together that are a prison. Fu kidnapped Future Trunks, and he tricks Goku and Vegeta into going there to try to save him. They're trapped, and they have to fight a bunch of enemies to retrieve Dragon Balls before they're actually able to leave. That's the storyline. All kinds of people are there. There's Bojack and his crew, Cooler, Goku, Zeno, and others. And for some reason, Cooler's a good guy. I don't know why. He gets the golden form as well, which is kind of cool, but whatever. Back to the story. Basically, though, they show the Mysterious Saiyan one more time in the second intro as well. Goku, Trunks, Vegeta, and everybody are up there fighting Bardock. I mean, Bojack. My bad. And his crew, and they win the fight and think it's all safe to celebrate, and Goku looks at Trunks with a big smile on his face, and then he gets this what the look on his face and looks to the ground and sees the Mysterious Saiyan down there starting to power up. Aura's purple, there's a whirlwind, boulders and rocks are flying everywhere, things are breaking, there's dust and rocks and shit flying everywhere, and Vegeta turns around like, what the hell is that? And just before this big boulder hits Vegeta, he jumps in the air and immediately goes Super Saiyan Blue. And then we get a close-up of the Mysterious Saiyan, of his face, and dude is scary looking. His hair looks like Raditz, but his eyes are pure white. But this is where the depth of his power starts to become obvious, come into perspective. Goku, Vegeta, Cooler, Future Trunks, and even Beat. This is the game. I know that I said Beat's not going to be in the anime, and I meant that, but right now I'm talking about the game. Beat was there. All five of them, and this one guy, Fu sends him out to fight all five of them and decided that taking off the straitjacket was an unnecessary risk. He sent this dude out there to fight all five of them and did not bother to take off his straitjacket. His arms were bound in the straitjacket, and he has his mask on as well. But that's not going to hold him back. I'll tell you why in a minute. Now, After we get the close-up of him, it cuts back to Goku, and Goku immediately goes Super Saiyan Blue. Then it shows Future Trunks again, and Future Trunks immediately goes into his anger mode. And the three of them attack at the same time with their strongest attacks. Goku's Kamehameha, Vegeta's Final Flash, Trunks' Burning Attack. Now I'm sure that we can all agree that doing that is completely out of character for Goku and Vegeta, who normally like to start slow and work their way up to their strongest forms, and then they will always allow their opponents to power up if they want to. Not this guy. When he started to power up, despite his straitjacket, they immediately did everything that they could to stop him from powering up all the way. And they failed, obviously. Now, the intro doesn't show anymore after that, but I can still tell you what happens next. Basically, well, how about, we don't know much about the guy, but we do know a few of his attacks, his techniques, and I'll tell you about those so you can understand why he did not need to have the straitjacket taken off. He's got this technique called the flying, or the floating shadow hands. His arms are restrained in the straitjacket. Fuck a straitjacket. When you can use your ki to make these really big, massive, floating ghost hands, who needs real hands, right? And he has another technique that he can use with these hands. It's called this. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. It's called this. This. And for this one, it turns out that he can turn one of his giant ghost hands into this massive claw and attack with it. But this is the big one, right? You know that Super Saiyan form, the Super Saiyan Berserk that like Kale had and kind of like Broly's? Well, this Saiyan, this mysterious Saiyan, this evil Saiyan, he could probably achieve that form, but he doesn't need to really. But being able to achieve that form is only cool until you find out what else he can do. He has this ability called Super Saiyan Berserk Inducement, meaning that he's able to force other Saiyans to go into this form. And after he powers up, we'll now start fighting. That's exactly what he does to Goku. I'm going to stop here, though. Nothing else to say about the guy, other than this, in my opinion. I think it's fairly obvious that this is this mysterious Saiyan is either going to be Yamoshi, the original Super Saiyan God, or the guy in the upcoming movie that they showed briefly. I could be wrong, I don't know, but it seems that way for me. Regardless of that, though, the fact that he can take on all five of them while he's wearing a straitjacket, I mean, that's absurd. Like, this dude is an absolute monster, and I cannot wait to see what he's like when he just really lets loose. But he's gonna be trouble. that much is obvious. But that's all I've got for you guys this time. So don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time.